to do some clips, but then you're also going to watch other clips and answer questions. So let's go ahead and get into this first clip. So our lesson objective is that students should be able to list distinguishing characteristics of major domains and kingdoms. Students should also be able to identify an organism's domain and or kingdom when given a photo or a text description. So all throughout today's worksheet, you're going to see some pictures and you're going to also see text descriptions because you should be able to identify the organisms based off of either. Okay, so let's go into some of the essential vocabulary. So we have what's called prokaryotic and eukaryotic organisms. So notice that these words have the same back end of the word, but the very beginning of the word is different, and that's like what makes the words different. Okay, so we have prokaryotic. Where's my little pointer? So we have prokaryotic, and then we have eukaryotic. Notice they're different. So prokaryotic are going to be very simple organisms that do not have a nucleus. So there's no nucleus, which means their DNA is just free floating all over the place. Then we have eukaryotic organisms. Think about like you yourself. You are a eukaryotic organism. We have a nucleus. We are complex organisms. We have lots of cells that have lots of divisions within them. Okay, so prokaryotic again are going to be simple organisms that do not have a nucleus, while eukaryotic organisms like you are complex organisms that have a nucleus. Okay, so again, prokaryotes are simple. They have very few organelles, so very few parts of the cell. They're very small. Their DNA is not protected because it doesn't have a nucleus, and it's going to typically be bacteria. While eukaryotes are going to be complex organisms like you. There's lots of organelles. They're larger. Their DNA is protected and kept safe in a nice nucleus. That's going to be mostly animals and plants, and we'll talk about some other things that are eukaryotes as well. However, to note, all living organisms have DNA and all living organisms have membranes, okay? One thing to note. Okay, let's continue on with our vocabulary. Unicellular versus multicellular. Uni is going to mean one. So a unicellular organism has one cell, while multicellular is more than one cell, so multiple cells. So unicellular organisms are going to be like amoebas, bacteria, yeast, and paramecium. And then examples of multicellular organisms are humans like you and I, also insects like butterflies and spiders, and then of course the plant bodies. So trees, grass, all of that, they're all multicellular organisms. Okay, autotrophic and heterotrophic, we've already talked about this, so this is a recap. Auto means self, so they make their own energy for themselves, while heterotrophs, again, have to eat other organisms for energy. So autotrophs are going to be like our flowering plants, green plants, stuff like that, and heterotrophs are going to be other organisms that have to eat, so crabs, decomposers that have to break down other organisms. You and I, we have to go and eat a cheeseburger or a salad or something. We're heterotrophic organisms. Okay, so for the rest of today's assignment, again, like I said, you're going to have a bunch of videos that I've put on there that are like about 2 to 3 minutes. They're not very long, and they're going to answer some questions. But I also have linked this PowerPoint, so if those videos aren't helpful to you, go ahead and make sure that you look at this PowerPoint that I have linked.